I'm still blessed and highly favored. I'm
Yes.
always blessed and highly favored. How are you on this? What day is it today? How are you on this Tuesday?
Phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah, that's
I was
Tuesday,
like,
yes.
ask me again. I'll say the same damn thing.
Right, yeah, no, I'm phenomenal. I'm here though, but can you hear me clearly?
I can. I can hear you clearly, articulately, eloquently, all of it. I didn't
Yes.
say articulately right, but that's okay.
It's okay.
I am not in school anymore, so I don't care.
Right.
However, first of all, welcome, greetings, all of that. I already did that.
Right.
All right, check, check. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to do is I always have my guests introduce themselves so I don't
Mhm.
fuck up and they can say what they want to be said. So introduce the people to this artist
Right.
and
Oh,
mastery of your music. Because again, I've been streaming you. Your shit's fire.
right. Thank you. I'm Sev7en Taylor. I go by many titles, a universal spiritual connector. I'm also a music artist, published author, business owner, and any other career title I like to attend.
Human philanthropist,
Right.
human rights activist, and
Right.
analyst too.
Right, you're key. Yeah. So I just create. I like to create.
Speaking of creating, I like as promised, I did get my questions. Okay, I did. I wasn't playing.
Okay.
I want to know how old were you when you first started making your music?
I started to I feel like I've always dabbled with music, in regards to creativity. But I started working on my first mixtape 20, I want to say 2015. Um, that's when I started to publicly share music. And
Okay.
yeah, so it was like a build up. It was,
So it's
you
always
know,
been there. It's just been on the streets since 2015.
right, yeah. As far as like the
Gotcha,
mixtape
gotcha.
circuit and stuff like that,
Because that's
yeah.
what I always say. I always say, like, I've always been a creative child. Like, even when I was a kid, like, I've been, like, been trying to, like, host stuff. Like, even when I was a kid, like, do you remember the show America's Next Top Model?
Yes, I do.
I used to take my Jenga blocks and I would write all the contestants that I was pissed off got sent home, and I would make my own top model with Jenga blocks.
Okay, I hear that. No, that was a classic show.
Mm. So when I
Yeah.
listen to your music, though, I hear like a lot of stuff. Who
Right.
inspired you? Or
Fox,
if you have like a top five, who are your top five?
top five rappers or well musicians. I would say Foxy Brown,
Ooh,
Little Kim,
I
Nicki
hear it.
Minaj, Jay-Z, Big. Oh, and Missy Elliott. I mean, if you was to combine all those influences, you would give me
If we were able to test tube a baby of five
right,
people,
right.
it
It
would
would
be
be me,
that would be you.
right.
I always say mine are Wendy, Nikki, Portia, and Whitney Houston.
Okay, come on now.
If you throw those four people in there, and Monique from Potomac Housewives.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because
Come on
I'm
now.
I still may be scrappy, but I'll read you first. Then
Right,
if that
right,
don't work, then I'll pull a Portia.
right, right. You pull it up real quick. I'm here for it. But yeah, those are the people that inspire me to rap.
Really, JayZ.
Yeah, Jay Z.
So
I look.
you know JayZ music.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
see, I grew up with Nas more than JayZ.
No, I appreciate Nas too. I feel like I appreciate everyone that contributes to the hip hop rap culture. I just
No,
feel like
that's a
Jay.
fact.
Right. I feel like Jay Z just his mindset has always inspired me, and that's why I branded myself and continue to brand myself
And that's
to
a
become a
fact. He took
mogul.
music and he took that into almost $1 billion empire.
Right. So shout outs to the real moguls.
We got to put respect on Jay-Z's name.
Always.
So you said that you do other stuff besides music. What else do you do?
hmm
Because you said create. So when I hear create, I think plural.
Yeah. Well, I would say
Besides business owner, you told me about your business.
right, right, right. I'm a published author. Um, so before I even put out my first mixtape or that existence exists, I wrote my first book, The Project of Being a Woman. That came out 2014, 15. That was around the same
I need
time I
to
was.
read that. Oh, I miss books.
Yeah. That was like the first hitter on the streets in a literal the literacy world. And then I've always modeled. I always did things. I was signed professionally as a model as well. So I did a lot of work with Rue 21 Gap, um, live model and stuff like that. So it's like
Yeah,
I've
you did.
always, yeah. So I've always been a hustler. I've always been a creative. I've always dabbled in and out of the entertainment industry. Um, and I always knew that that was my passion. That was my 9 to 5. That was my, go to, like just creativity. Life without it is boring. So,
So
you
you don't
know,
have the typical 9 to 5 like job. This
no,
is your job. This is your career.
yeah. Once I launched my
Ooh,
business,
see, that's what I'm trying to do.
right. Once I launched my business last year, I transitioned from the 9 to 5 world, and I've just been doing my thing ever since. So I'm blessed and humbled, to be in this position. And I just knew that being a creative that I am and stuff like that, that world didn't sustain what I was doing. It was just, if you're gonna make a quick buck, make a quick buck. But if you want something more out of life, you gotta take risks. You gotta get
Well, you
uncomfortable to
have
get
to.
comfortable.
You have to fail too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't really fail. You just learn. You learn in
Exactly.
that the whole
That's why I say I
process.
don't call it failing. I call it, like you said, learning
Right.
from your
I
mistakes
call it
because everyone
challenging.
makes the choice. It's either
Right.
gonna hit or it's gonna miss.
Right. Well, I feel like when you go through that like I'm very specific on what I label things because when I do challenge my vocabulary, your vocabulary speaks life upon your life, and I always say, if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're never failing. You're just evolving to the point that it makes sense or it makes alignment with you. So it's like you're never failing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting to you, who you
All
really are.
right, spiritual guru
Right.
over here. You can add that to your resume.
Right. Well, I do that too. Mentor. Yes.
He did say that. This is correct.
Right.
I
Right.
literally was dead. I was gonna say that one of my questions that I asked is, "Do you mentor anyone?" Because you have those vibes.
Yeah. I
My
do.
next question: music full time job. That one's checked off too. Do
Okay.
you
Come
play
on now.
instruments though? Do you play instruments?
In high school, I played the flute.
I played the saxophone.
Come on
I
now.
played the alto sax, and I was gonna do the bari sax, but I was like kind of tiny in high school, and I wasn't carrying that big ass thing.
Right.
So then I was gonna do the soprano saxophone, but then my grandma looked it up, and it was like 10 grand, and she told me to get a job.
Oh, my point.
So I stuck with the alto sax.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, instruments are definitely pricey. I did have the pleasure of learning, and I think maybe that's where the music thing kind of became more like, okay, if I do music, what am I going to do with it? And then it just
That's a
later became,
fact.
I kind of just,
I
seven
have
is
some
kind of
songs
snowballed
in the
into itself.
stash too. My songs are literally sitting in the stash. They've
Okay,
been sitting in the stash for like 5 years,
okay, now you better
and
drop
I'm
them.
like, just release them.
Right. Why not? You never
I
know what
don't
happens.
know, because then when I get ready to, I just stop. So I don't
Right.
know. Don't
Well,
know.
sometimes you got to work past you. You might be your own blockage.
Oh, I am. It's
Yeah.
called Inner Saboteur for a reason.
Right.
Oh, I know what it is. I know her, and she is very large and in charge.
Yeah. You just gotta release that energy and just do it. Go for it.
So,
You
like,
know.
what audience do you like to push towards? Or are you just like, I'm gonna release this, and if you like it, you don't, you don't? Or do you
Yeah.
like push for an audience?
I
Because you
already
know how
have.
some of our audience, like artists, you can tell when they going, towards, the white people, and you can tell when they're going towards the melanated kings and queens. Like Beyonce
Right.
does that. Like, do you
Right. Right.
flip flop or do you just release?
I just release some of the artists. Whatever you gravitate to with my music is what you get out of it. I just feel like my job as a creator is to create for myself and then the world. I don't go into the studio and
You
say I
don't do
want
it
to.
for people, you do it for you.
Yeah, and if it aligns with you, it aligns with you. And I do have a audience of people that do fuck with me, and excuse me, I don't know if I can cuss on this, but I do have
Oh,
a
you
people.
can. I marked it as explicit.
Okay, I'm an
I'm not.
explicit artist,
No,
so it's okay.
no.
You
I'm not
knew.
censoring nothing.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm an explicit artist, so yeah, I love to use my extensive vocabulary, but
Yes, the letter E was present on your stuff.
yes,
Hmm.
firmly. uh,
Firmly.
but yeah, like I said, when I go into the studio, my main thing is this. I'm channeling Seven. Seven comes in.
Exactly, it's a character. When I do drag, my character's Rain.
Right, yeah. So you're channeling. I'm channeling Seven. So when Seven is ready to say something and he wants to come out and play with the girls, he do. Right about now, he wants to play with the girls. So
Yep,
this is
it's
why
about that
I'm
time.
right. I'm gearing up for new things. I have some surprises happening this month, but I feel like when you do create, and this is for a lot of people that do, DM me and stuff like that. I'm like, you gotta find your rhythm. You gotta find what's you. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. I don't put a genre on myself. I know primarily I'm in the company of hip hop and rap, but
No, you are an artist.
right, but I do everything. I
Hmm.
don't. But my starting grounds was rap and hip hop.
Yeah,
So
my
that's my
fiance
roots.
corrected me because that's his roots is rap and hip hop. But he corrected me. He was like, "No, Justice, I'm an artist."
Right,
He's like,
exactly,
"I choose to do this, but I can do anything." He
exactly.
said, "Hell, I'll make a country song tomorrow if you want me to."
Right. Listen, I made rock songs and all that. Like I
Mm-mm.
get
Yep.
busy. I do, but I feel like anyone that is really taking hold of creativity, you have to understand that it itself is its own energy. You have nothing really to do with it. It produces what it's supposed to produce. Artists think that they have this free will and this creativity. No, it's just the universe allowing you to be a contribution to the situation. It's more than a flesh desire. For me, I can't speak for everybody's shit, but for me, it's spiritual. It's okay. This is a time to say this. This is a time to create this and share with the world. So I've
Right.
always
Exactly.
allowed I've always allowed
Hmm.
myself to do what I need to do.
Exactly.
You know,
You got to do you first.
yeah, of course.
So, like, with music in particular, like, I get DMs from people, like, even like as you get older, like, you
Hmm.
notice, like, I never realized, like, even like being like a little, like, outspoken little melanated kid in a small ass
Right,
rural town, I didn't realize the impact and inspiration that I would have for people after that.
right.
I didn't realize that. I realize now, like, I've actually touched people, and like now, like, since I've gotten older, like, I move differently. Do you
Right.
move differently knowing that like people are watching you?
Of course. You got
You do
to.
too. Okay.
Yeah, you got to because a lot of times even something that happened today. I feel like sometimes people want to use you as like a trophy in a situation where it's like, okay, I know Seven's doing X, Y, and Z, so let me attach myself to him. Let me get him to like something of mine. Let him, endorse it, etc. And it's like,
Deadass.
I'm like, come on now, like be authentic in your shit. If I choose to like something of yours or whatever the situation is, I just did it off the willingness. But you do have some people that will overstep boundaries because they're trying to eat off of you. And I personally could feel when someone just trying to eat off my name. You
Oh, it's a
know,
fact. They give off that energy right away.
very much vampiric. you know,
Very much eating at the buffet. They be stacking their plate,
right,
and I'm like that my plate though.
right,
So
exactly,
you gonna pay half of this tab?
right, exactly. So I like authentic vibes. Be authentic. You know, let's
Do you
bond.
work with other artists?
I have, and I'm about to work with some more.
All right, all right, all right. Do you charge?
I do.
He said we will discuss in the DMs.
Right.
Uh huh. I was about to say, I was like, all right, as long as they charging. Mm-mm. So tell me,
Right.
like, you are from where again?
I'm from New Haven, Connecticut.
And you still are out in that area too?
Yeah, as of right now, but I'm gonna be looking to
I was
move
gonna ask, do
soon.
you like plan on like moving somewhere? Because I've noticed
Yeah.
like
Go ahead.
where I oh no, I was just trying to think. My words for a second stopped. You know when you like have 87 things to say? Okay. So
Right.
like I grew up in this town called Oakfield. Like,
Hmm.
do you think like is it true like people that live in small towns, do you believe that we have to move in a city to be fruitful and prosperous? Do you think location really genuinely does kind of like give you like a stamp of you're going to like if you want to dream big, you're gonna have to move.
At first when I first came into the industry, at first. But I've had so much opportunities of being a part of New York Gay Pride, like the World Pride thing. Like I've had a lot of opportunities where I made a lot of money traveling to different states and stuff like that. So I don't. At first, I used to think it was a locational thing, but it's really alignment. It's really just like you have that alignment that this opportunity is now presenting itself to you, and you got to know how to negotiate yourself. You know, some people
Facts.
that live in certain areas, they think small with themselves.
Thank you.
I never been a local bitch. I always been global. You know, so
Yep.
it's
I
like
always said I am from a small town, but I was not. I never had the small town mindset.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
raised in the. Let me rephrase. I'm not from a small town. I was raised in a small town.
Right,
I was
exactly.
born in a city and grew up like my little childhood years. I still grew up in a city.
Right.
So like I
Yeah.
saw stuff other than the small town. And as
Right.
soon as I got my car, when I tell you I hit Buffalo and I hit Rochester, New York so hard.
Yeah, no, definitely. I lived in New York. I was in Brooklyn for a while, a few years ago.
You've been a
So
New Yorker? Well, welcome.
yeah, well, I'm right next door to New York, so
That's
basically,
true. I just went there for my birthday. It was like an hour and a half drive.
yeah, I'm right now. So New Yorkers and Connecticut individuals, we're like cousins. It's like we all kind of. Only thing about New Yorkers is probably a little more thicker accent with certain things, but it's East Coast,
Yeah, we
you
talk
know.
funny. I don't
Yeah,
even talk funny because I'm not from New York City. So it's weird. New York City and New York State, we have different accents.
right. You more upstate,
Very weird. So you
right?
said you performed. Did you perform at Pride when you went down?
No, I didn't go to this recent Pride. I performed at the last New York Pride event I was a part of. I performed at this small intimate celebrity event. It was Solee. That was 2018. But I did do some performances last year for Pride around here and stuff like that, like some gigs that I got booked for. But I don't really like to do a lot of performing unless I really have some new stuff to perform. So I was,
Okay.
yeah, so I was riding more off of the coattail of my latest project, which was Blessed Be. And now that I'm out of that era,
Which was fabulous.
thank you, I
Stream it,
appreciate it.
everybody. It's on
Right.
all streaming platforms. I streamed it on Spotify.
Okay, period. Thank you.
It's on
Um,
all of them.
it's on everything. I'm on
All right,
everything.
yeah, available on all streaming platforms. Ting.
Right. Come on now. Soundbite. Yeah, but so when I was doing that type of I call it touring that project, which was amazing. Um,
I've
I
only
knew.
performed drag live twice, so I'm over here like, so like, what was it like? How was it? Cause like when I performed, like when I tell you like when the music turned on, like I turned on and then as soon as it went off, like it turned off and I don't even remember much. Like it was like I was there and it happened. Cause like I have
Right.
memory of it, but I have no recollection because it was like crazy. But like
It was
I
channeling, yeah.
fell. I actually